Lucas from iExplore here. Today I'm in Shinjuku and we're going to explore this area with Charles from iExplore. He's going to join me, we're going to walk around, talk shop. But just before that, I have a couple of very important announcements. iExplore has been very busy behind the scenes. We've added a lot of new workshops in Kyoto and Osaka. We have a new guy over there. And also, surprise, we have workshops now in Hong Kong as well. So if you're traveling out there, check it out. This is a big expansion for us. We're moving overseas, so check that out. All right. As always, a big thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon. We really appreciate you guys. So thank you for that. And let's get on to the video.
iExplore.
All right, so we're here with Charles. Charles does a ton of the workshops here in Tokyo for iExplore. Charles, where are you from?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, cool.
Yep.
And then how long have you been living in Japan?
So I've been here like seven years, going on 8 years.
Okay. And then when did you start doing photography, or in particular street photography?
Well, I really started a lot more once I got here.
Right,
Japan inspires you. Yeah.
It goes without saying, right?
So,
goes without saying.
Yeah. Plus I was in a rural area in Australia, so
But you were doing photography before. It was just it just wasn't street photography. It was like other stuff, right? Maybe a little bit of studio work or something like that, right?
events and stuff like that.
That kind of
pieces.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
But,
and so for you, what would you say is like, because your style is very creative, actually, I would say.
Yeah.
But what would you say is like something that gets the creative juices flowing for you when you're doing your photography here in Tokyo?
I think it's very much like, I think I like to focus a lot on getting a subject. So like finding a person and then like trying to make that person the main character in a shot.
And then like,
I think that's,
So
I think that's where I've been tending to go recently anyway.
I see.
Yeah.
And so along those lines, what kind of subjects interest you, would you say?
Oh, so I'm just looking for like unique characters, really.
Okay,
yeah, basically.
But then in your photos, I see a lot of stuff like that's like a little more like abstract, like silhouettes.
Oh
right?
yeah, there's a bit of that.
You have that kind of like.
But then I monitor who's coming in to see who's going to make a good silhouette.
I see.
So yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that intrigues me about your photography, the way you do it, is your very like, how would I say? I don't know what the right word is. Irreverent approach to gear. Right? Is that putting it correctly?
Today. I'm like,
would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
So what do you got there actually? What is this lens?
Yeah, because
the camera's pretty common. D610. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty dated now. But yeah, this is a 28 to 85.
From like the 80s?
Probably. Yeah, I was thinking about it like, just bring the lens I always bring. Like,
no, I'm glad you did. I didn't. I actually was going to tell you, please bring this lens, but I forgot, and I'm glad you brought it.
This is the one I've been using the bulk of the time. I've grown to love this lens.
So what do you love about it? What is specifically interesting about it?
Well, it does match off a whole bunch of different focal lengths, so whatever people bring, I can sort of...
Oh, you mean like on a workshop?
Yeah. So it's useful, So like if people bring like fixed lenses, like you got your... Basically straight across the top there, you got all your 28, 35, 50, 85, so I can match up to what people have.
So you're saying like it's a good educational tool when you're doing a workshop?
Well, it's useful for that, plus I like zooming.
Yeah, but that's what I was mainly getting. I was like, so when you're shooting with it, what is it you like about it? So you like that it's a zoom lens, but of course you can get a modern zoom lens. Maybe it's cheap, but I guess maybe I'm trying to lead you into the answer that you've told me before, but I know you like it because it's kind of... It's got character. It's got character, right?
Yeah, it's got character.
Exactly.
And then the other thing is, like, I don't have to fuss about it too much.
Right, because it's not that sharp anyway, so you're just...
It's not crazy sharp.
Whatever. Yeah.
And then if it gets rained on, I don't care. Yeah. I'd only that I've grown to like this lens a lot, that I would be annoyed.
Sure. It's probably hard to find a replacement.
That'll probably be the toughest bit,
Hey guys, just a quick reminder to subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. That really does help us out. Also, if you'd like to support us, you can support us on Patreon, or if you come to Tokyo, book a workshop. We also have a map of Tokyo photo spots. Let's get back to the video. So basically, I know that you also like vintage, or not even vintage lenses, like broken lenses, right?
Yeah, I've
like
got
you shop at the...
Yes, I've got a lot of lenses of questionable quality.
Yeah, and you get them for like 500 yen or stuff like that. In the broken bin at the secondhand camera stores, right? So I really like that, because I'm kind of like, I think I've loosened up, but I definitely went through a phase where I was obsessed with it being like really sharp and stuff. Yeah. And actually, in many ways, you've inspired me to kind of like, even though I do use a lens that is sharp, if a photo is sometimes like slightly out of focus or just imperfect, I'm like, you know what, that's fine. I sometimes think like, well, Charles thinks it's fine. Why should I be all highfalutin about it? So I like that. Would you say that you kind of like when you're doing a workshop, are people that you're doing a workshop with kind of surprised by that, or do you ever run into people resisting that a little bit?
I think it's more, it's good, I think it does help reassure people who are worried about their gear.
True.
Yeah, because I get a lot of people like, oh, it's only this, it's only that. I'm like, doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter
go
what
out
it
there,
is. This
take
is
photos.
a bigger piece of junk.
Yeah. Look what I'm holding, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No, that's very true. And I say the same to people, but yeah, it sounds a little disingenuous when I say it when I'm holding like this camera, and they're like, well, wait a minute. Like, yeah, but you don't need it. You don't need it. It's just what I use, but it doesn't matter. So that's cool. That's interesting. I never really thought about that. That's a good point. That it puts people at ease.
Yeah, you get it. That happens a bit. That people are like, "Oh, I've only got this, camera that someone gave me or something like that," and I'm like, it'll be fine."
Yeah, people sometimes email us and say like, "Oh, is this camera going to be enough?" And we're always like, "Yeah, sure. Just bring whatever. Bring your phone."
Yeah. That's the thing because the phones have got so good now.
Well, phones. That's true. That's maybe not a good thing. It's like just bring your phone. When it's like a $1,500 iPhone, whatever, then it's not just anymore.
The phones have got wildly, but I feel like the phones have gone a little bit too far the other way. They've got like a bit crazy with the
lenses and stuff.
Yeah, they bring up they bring down the highlights too much and bring up the shadows and really flatten the shots out.
That is absolutely true. Yeah,
they've lost a bit of character.
They try to show you everything when you really want to hide some stuff.
Yeah,
right? Not because that's where the character is. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. So right now we're wandering around Kabukicho. We haven't really shot anything yet because we're just chatting. But do you like shooting around here?
Yeah. I always go down here.
Me too.
Yeah.
What do you like about this
I like
area?
that down there you've got the drugstore on the corner there.
Oh, that kind of drugstore.
Yeah.
Because this is the neighborhood where that could mean something else.
Yeah. No, it's legit drugs.
Actual drugs, yeah. I do like that corner too.
Yeah. Because I don't know, it's nice. It's dark all the way around it. The vignettes nicely, and then. And then catching people across in front of it.
Right.
Depends on how chaotic the.
And you mentioned you like getting interesting characters, and you say this is an area with a lot of
yeah. So that's a place where like I'll look for a good silhouette as they pass through.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been doing workshops at Expo, I guess I want to say like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
There was the gap, because the border was closed, all that stuff.
Things got weird,
but in total it's been about 5 years.
Yeah.
So what would you say you learned from the workshops? From doing them for 5 years. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, one thing I think is to explore what they like to encourage people to try stuff. Like sometimes people are like, they go to do a shot and then they're like they hesitate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, try it. Try it.
Like go deeper kind of thing.
Yeah, unless you try, you'll never know. And then from seeing what they've had a crack at. Sometimes they nail it straight off the bat.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And they're like, all right,
Yeah, that was actually totally worth trying.
Yeah.
Why did you
do that more?
Yeah.
But also, you find shots that way as well. So, I see a shot, and sometimes people just discount it and think it's like, no. I'm like, no, wait.
You have to convince them.
I have
really
to.
Good.
Sell it to them that, like, no, you did find something there, and then play around with that thing and make it into a shot. If it wasn't a shot, and sometimes it's a shot straight off the bat. So
I see.
Yeah. But I think it's
so I guess it's showing you kind of like that even you yourself have to be kind of open.
You can learn something from anyone.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And find,
That's what I find too. Like when I'm on the workshops, I always trying to think of them as a collaboration. It's a creative collaboration. Like, yes, we're leading it, and we're definitely taking often the first step for things, for certain shots. But sometimes because the idea is bouncing around, then I get ideas too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
So somebody was asking me, I don't remember when it was, but somebody asked me they kind of asked me kind of a leading question. They said, "Oh, it must be hard to get good photos on your workshops when you're leading them." And I was like, "No, actually, no. I get great.
At all.
It's actually hard to get good shots on making these videos." Was my answer, because this is different. This requires a lot more of a concentration to think about where we're going, what we're going to say. But when I'm leading a workshop, it's natural. We just stuff. It kind of it just flows, right? Well, what's your opinion on on Kabukicho itself? Like when you're here, as an observer who comes here very regularly, because we do the workshops around here. Not only here, of course, but this is one of the main places.
Yeah.
What do you think about this place? It's a very open question, but
it's very. Is it?
Do you feel it's like an evil place?
There's definitely a dark side to it.
There's a dark side to it, right?
Yeah,
but is it a dangerous place?
It's not dangerous, no.
It's not dangerous, right?
No. Because I think a lot of people think it's
That's right.
I think it's oversold as.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think
it's easy to stay out of trouble
place.
here, and you can wander through with whatever. No one's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. We never have any trouble, right?
Yeah, I've never had any trouble.
Sometimes people do say no photo or something, but not much.
Yeah, and
that's all they'll say, right?
Yeah.
And more often than not, I get people posing for photos.
Oh yeah.
I had some actually the other day. Some people were
the drunk people posing.
Drunk people, or some of the hosts.
I should put them all in a folder because I have like a folder. Because I always take a photo because I feel, like I should. Since they pose for the photo, I take a photo and then
I do too, and then I don't do anything with it because I feel like
and then that just sits on my computer.
Oh, that brings me to a good question that I'm curious about. Do you have, like, amongst your work, like, you actually post pretty regularly. You also post good stuff, probably more often than I do. I'm very lazy with posting online.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty bad actually.
Well, yeah, you're probably not great either, but like you're better than me. So my point is, like, do you have like projects that you're like, how do you think about your work? Is it just a whole bunch of random cool stuff? Like, there seems to be some cohesion when you post stuff. It's always like recognizably yours.
Yeah, normally I will go through photos and then try and put them into like a nice package. Yeah.
But are you like working towards something? Like, do you have like a folder of like your cream of the crop images that maybe you'd want to like publish someday or something like that, or? Yeah. Or not really. You're just shooting.
I'm shooting a little, but I do feel like I always feel like I should be,
working towards something else.
Yeah, but then.
Let me ask you another question. Then, how's your backlog doing?
Yeah.
It's huge, right?
Yeah, I'm not setting the.
Oh, hey.
The standard.
Hey, it's Stefan. We just did a workshop yesterday. Do you mind being on camera for a few seconds? Yeah. Just say hello. Yeah. So not staged. This is Stefan. We did a workshop the other night, and you watch YouTube, right? You watch the channel. Yeah. Well, then you're gonna be on the channel. Cool. Well, yeah. Enjoy. Yeah. Thank you. Wow, that's funny. For real, he's staying around here.
Oh, really?
So, I picked him up last night.
It's surprising how often you see people again.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's one thing I like. It's always funny as well. Like I'll see a tourist somewhere, and then like.
2 hours later,
I'll see him again. He's like, how'd that happen?
Oh, the Godzilla thing is happening right now. I don't want to stop. Do you want to stop? Do you ever run into that Japanese guy who's... I know you do. I'm just bringing this up for the video. There's that little old Japanese man who like rounds people up to come see the Godzilla thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And he's like, he'll be like pounding you, right?
Yeah,
come see the Godzilla. It's now. It's happening in 2 minutes. You gotta come. This guy's a character.
Likes
right?
Nikon too.
Yeah, he likes Nikon too.
He likes Nikon and I don't know why he's.
I've been seeing this guy around here for like years, like 10 years.
As long as I've been doing this, he's been doing that.
And he's been getting like a little more and more senile. I feel like a little more unhinged.
I feel like he remembers me.
Exactly. He doesn't remember ever, and then he gets like a little more intense with his Godzilla like passion. Every time I see him, and to the point that I gotta avoid him now. If I see him, I'm kind of like, let's not go that way. And I'll tell the people I'm with on the workshop, like, let's avoid that guy because it's gonna get weird. He won't let us go. We're gonna have to stop and watch Godzilla, and it's not that interesting. So,
and then he's very fascinated with the whole Godzilla thing.
I know. It's just and then he doesn't have much English, so he like kind of like screams at you and like broken English. Yeah. So there's that guy. So do you have any other like regular weirdos that you run into?
Have you come across the guy that asks for money? He's got the hair combed this way.
Yeah. Sometimes he has like a band-aid somewhere on his face and his glasses, right?
That
guy. I think I've been seeing that guy longer than you have because I first met that guy when I first got to Japan in like 2008.
I've seen him in YouTube videos.
Yeah, he's in YouTube videos. I've seen him in reels on people's Instagrams, like complaining about him. But that guy's not even like the guy we first talked about, the Godzilla guy. He's kind of cute, like you know what I mean. Like
he's harmless enough.
He means well. He's harmless.
He can get. He thought he got photographed once.
Oh, and he got pissed.
Which is kind of weird. As a photographer,
he is a photographer. We didn't mention he is a photographer.
He's a photographer.
Well, anyway, but that guy generally, although he's kind of annoying, he's fine.
He's harmless generally.
He's not a bad guy. He's just a little too crazy. But the guy we just mentioned, this other guy, he's actually like kind of a scammer. Like,
he's shady.
About He's really shady.
Yeah, he's shady.
But tell me a more fun one. Do you have any do you know Infinity?
I've seen him, but I've been meaning to talk to him at some point because you know him.
Yeah. So Infinity's this guy.
I know who he is now.
Right. Well, I'll probably put some photos up of Infinity right now. In front of the Toho Cinemas, there's a group of people that hang out, and they're generally referred to as the Toyoko kids, like the kids that hang out in front of Toho Cinema. And a lot of them are kind of like, as you know, right? Like kind of somewhat homeless, like runaways, like kids that left home. They crash in on like friends' couches or net cafes. And they're pretty young, like around 20, let's say. And that's kind of sad. That's not a good thing. It's not a fortunate state of affairs. But amongst them, there's also some like older, actual homeless people hanging out. And then there's this one guy who's kind of an enigma. His name is Infinity. And he's this like, I don't know, 30-something Japanese guy, and like, I don't know anything about him, but he's always there, and he has the biggest seat. He sits in like a big lawn chair.
He might be crashed up. host or something.
Something like that. He looks like a crashed out horse. Correct. He definitely does.
But I don't know.
I love that this is 2 YouTube videos just in passing. Like they're doing a video, or we're doing a video, and they're on a gimbal, we're on a gimbal. Like this is great. This is Shinjuku for you. Like everyone's a YouTuber or something. Anyway, so yeah. So this Infinity guy, I call him the king of the miscreants, because he kind of like presides. And if there's ever like a fight with the randos, he'll like jump in and settle it. He'd be like, no, leave, you're fine, you stay. And then, he like lays down the law. He doesn't fight anybody, but he'll just like settle it. You know what I mean?
I suppose it's in his interest to keep order there, because otherwise
he wants to run. But every time he's just sitting there, like surrounded by all the other weirdos, and like I don't know.
Every time I see him, he's like sitting there, and he's got he's got his people.
Yeah, he's got an entourage.
Like running a little cult.
It's a court. It's a court. He's holding court.
Not a cult.
Yeah, but also it is kind of like a cult. But then again, it's a very loosely, like he doesn't really like,
Oh, it doesn't seem like there's any rules or anything like that.
Right? It's just like totally...
not fighting, I think, obviously.
Yeah, no fighting. And then it's funny because the police or the public safety people, they don't have any problem with anything except for fighting, no fighting, and no smoking. So you can be drunk, passed out, doing whatever, but you can't smoke. not allowed. No smoking on the street. So
I've seen it. It's done the issue on the spot fines too for that.
Yeah, they do. They can put out the cigarettes and stuff. And they'll give fines and whatnot. Yeah. Oh, how do I know the name Infinity? Yeah, Axel asked a great question. How do I know the name Infinity? I don't remember, but I think people told me he's named Infinity. And like, whenever I ask somebody else, it's like, hey, do you know Infinity? They're like, oh yeah. Because I've talked to some of the other people there too when he's not there. Like the other day I talked to this girl and we were just chatting and she's like, so do you know anybody here? I was like, yeah, I know Infinity. Oh no, I asked her, do you know Infinity? She's like, of course, everybody knows Infinity. So then that like confirmed it. But I've heard that name multiple times. So this guy's become kind of a legend. But I don't know if it's good or bad that he's a legend. Who knows? But yeah, a lot of interesting characters around here, right? All right, guys, so we'll end it there. Of course, if you want to book Charles, you can request him on our website. You can request me. You can also book a workshop with all the other guys on our team. And remember, we do have a lot more workshops now in Kyoto and Osaka. We've expanded there, and we have stuff now in Hong Kong. So please check that all out on our website. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. And remember, always
challenge your eye.